I'm sorry. Holy cow. So flustered right now. My microphone wasn't even on at first. Luka Doncic has been traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. What does it mean for the Phoenix Suns? What does it mean in their pursuits for that being of one Jimmy Butler? I'll talk to you guys in a couple of seconds.
The Ben Garcia Show. Yeah. Woo. Best show in the land. Yup. Listen. Come and get your information from Ben Garcia. Get the latest on your quarterback, running backs, and receivers. Tune in, so any other show you don't need him. Any news that he giving out, please just believe him. Giving out the latest prediction and top-notch analysis. Wanna hear the truth, better have thick skin like callus. The latest move that your team just made can be damaging. The dudes ain't speaking no facts, they just be rambling. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. Yeah. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. The Ben Garcia Show.
What is up, guys? Welcome in to yet another edition of not another edition of the Ben Garcia Show. That oral tick is starting to get to me. Luka Doncic has been traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. Insane movement in the NBA. We'll get to my reaction in just a second. We'll get to what this means to the Phoenix Suns. This is your very first emergency podcast since we have started live streaming here on the Ben Garcia Show. This is absolutely insane. Haven't seen something like this happen in the NBA in quite some time. Immediately, my first reaction was, there's no way this is real. There's no way Luka Doncic is headed to the Los Angeles Lakers. What does it mean for the Phoenix Suns? Could there potentially be a trade on the horizon for the Suns next? This is absolutely unprecedented and crazy. And this is a scuffed setup today here, guys. We have to make sure things are working, so we're kind of in and out here for a second. Insane. I've never seen something like this in the history of me watching the NBA. And a few reasons for it is pretty much just this. Stars don't usually get traded in the middle of the season. Immediately what people go to is, well, that's just insane. That's crazy. Kevin Durant was traded a few years ago in the middle of the NBA season. Well, that was seen as a haul for Kevin Durant and still seen as a haul for Kevin Durant. I don't think that there's a single person who has logically looked at this trade and said, this is fair for both sides. I have never seen something like this. You know, in all honesty, if my phone starts vibrating or things start to go haywire, it's because people are calling me, people are texting me to see if I think that this is real. But it's real. And just to kind of go over the trade as a whole, this is all just off the cusp, guys. The Lakers will get Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris. And the Mavericks will get Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and one 2029 first-round pick from the Los Angeles Lakers. The Jazz are also involved in this, but really no one cares. I'm assuming they're just in it just to make the money work. If I'm being honest with you guys, I don't know how the money works at this point because I didn't expect a deal like this to be something that would even be close to getting done, for that being Luka Doncic. It basically goes like this. There are teams in the NBA that run towards the second apron, the first apron, spend money in the NBA. That's your Phoenix Suns. That's, at this point, your Los Angeles Lakers. That's your Boston Celtics. Aggressive wins in sports. And from what is being said so far by Shams and everyone in between is basically saying the Mavericks approached the Lakers and offered Luka Doncic. Sources tell ESPN. Lakers brass met and believed the 25-year-old Luka Doncic has the ability to be the face of their franchise for the next decade while giving Anthony Davis a win-now move in Dallas. Anthony Davis has been largely healthy over the past couple of seasons, But the guy at this point is 30-something years old. Luka Doncic is a 25-year-old superstar who has already taken a team just last year to the NBA Finals. Anthony Davis is indeed 31 years old. And you see let me try to rationalize this for all the just regular Suns fans coming on this, knowing that I cover the Phoenix Suns, and we'll get to Jimmy Butler in just a second, and what it means for the Pacific Division, what it means for the Western Conference, what it means for all of that. This doesn't even make remote sense for the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm sorry, this doesn't make remotely any sense for the Dallas Mavericks. And I go back to that Kevin Durant trade a few years ago, and this is why these kind of deals don't just ever happen in the NBA, not in the middle of the season, and even more so not in this current landscape of the NBA because of the current CBAs. You are allowed to pay your own player more. This still keeps Luka Doncic in the running for a supermax deal with the Lakers. He could have got that with the Dallas Mavericks. These type of things don't happen. And you point to the Suns haul for the Kevin Durant trade a couple of years ago. And it's kind of hard, off the cusp, flustered as I'm just reacting to this candidly with you guys. Normally I'm marking up a show and getting points I want to get to, but this is just right off the cusp. So apologies for that. When the Phoenix Suns got Kevin Durant, when the Phoenix Suns traded for Kevin Durant a few years ago, it was Cam Johnson, it was Mikal Bridges, it was 4 first-round picks, it was Jay Crowder. Then they flipped Jay Crowder and got 5 second-round picks. It was madness. It was, well, how could you not do that? You got 3 pick swaps as well from the Suns. And at this point, you see what the Lakers gave away. They gave away mostly brittle for his entire career, Anthony Davis, although he has been healthy as of late. Max Christie, who's really just a throw-in at this point. These are the type of things, which I don't think that this is even remotely true, that leads people to believe the NBA is rigged or that sports is rigged. Because, of course, the Lakers got him. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think this is going to lead to immediate championships for the Lakers. I truly don't believe that they're a Luka Doncic away from competing. But it helps them. Marketing, jersey sales, whatever it is. And who doesn't want to go play with Luka? But it is a little alarming if you are a Lakers fan to be, at this point, whenever someone gets traded and it seems like a steal, right? Like with Luka, you have to ask yourself, why did the Dallas Mavericks trade Luka Doncic? He didn't ask for a trade. He's coming up to a supermax deal pretty soon. He's oftentimes kind of injured with soft tissue injuries, and he's got a conditioning problem. And those are all things that the Mavericks cited. And you can name all the issues with Luka. And there are some deficiencies. Him being one of my favorite players in the NBA, probably not anymore, because I'm a Suns fan and he's on the Lakers and they're sworn enemies. But none of it makes sense. None of it. You try to rationalize the deal in any way. You only got 1 first-round pick for Luka Doncic? In no world should Luka, at 25 years old, be getting less of a haul than Kevin Durant, who was 35, 34 years old when he got traded to the Phoenix Suns? I mean, if you're the Phoenix Suns, and that's where we cover it from this angle of the show is, man, did you give up a lot for Kevin Durant? I understand Anthony Davis is an elite level player and, but he's 31. He's been injured before. He's still in his prime, but you could have gotten way more if you're the Dallas Mavericks. You could have commanded an insane, obscene, ridiculous draft pick haul for Luka, 4 first-round picks, a bunch of pick swaps, a couple of different core players. This is the problem with bad management. And it's going from, do I want to compete or do I want to tank? The worst thing you can do is be in the middle. And the Mavericks, in my opinion, are not an Anthony Davis away from competing. Even with everyone healthy, it still doesn't make any sense. And then you look at, so at this point, they're trying to be in the middle. They're trying to not compete, but also be in like this middle spot. You either want to be bad or good. You don't want to be in the middle. I get trading Kyrie and Luka to a very tiny degree, but these things don't happen during the regular season because teams don't have as many assets to give up. That's what made the Kevin Durant trade so crazy years ago. And it feels like an all-time fleece. The only thing that I can really compare this deal to, because it just sounds like the Dallas Mavericks called the Lakers, because they wanted Anthony Davis, they wanted to get better defensively. The soft tissue injuries, the conditioning doesn't really make a lot of sense when you're putting deficiencies on Luka Doncic if you're the Dallas Mavericks, because you just traded for a guy who is injured consistently outside of the last couple of seasons in Anthony Davis. So none of it makes any sense. I cannot believe the owner of the Dallas Mavericks would sign off on this. We know that that's not Mark Cuban anymore. We know it's some other entity that is controlling the day-to-day operations. But then you turn it like this. If you're the Phoenix Suns and you're still trying to compete and you're still trying to be relevant, and you see the Los Angeles Lakers go get a 25-year-old superstar who, for better or worse, owns the Phoenix Suns, it's time to kick it into high gear. Especially after getting your arse beaten in tonight, which we hadn't even talked about at this point. The Phoenix Suns get destroyed by the DeAndre Ayton and Toumani Camara-led Trailblazers. Two former Suns, Toumani Camara, who didn't play a single game here. It's time to kick it into high gear. It's time to figure out the Jimmy Butler thing. Because now the Lakers are going to surpass you. I mean, it is crazy to where the Lakers are right now, moving into that next echelon of LeBron James can retire and all things will be well because we're going to have Luka Doncic here. And if you're the Suns, you're kind of stuck with your hands in your pockets. The Lakers were given a gift. They were flailing. They were the Lakers were this close to irrelevancy. And the Dallas Mavericks just said, here's that big old heaping scoop of relevancy. Instead of waiting in the offseason and allowing other teams to completely bid against each other, you did something that didn't need to be done. If you wanted Anthony Davis in the offseason, you could have still gotten him in the offseason. This wasn't like a deal where it was like, well, Anthony Davis, we got to get him now because he'll be gone later. I can promise you the Lakers would be absolutely salivating to give up Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic, just like how they were now. And I'm kind of all over the place. So let me kind of go back to what I was saying before. The only way that I can relate this is David Johnson from the Arizona Cardinals being traded to the Houston Texans for DeAndre Hopkins. Per reports, that was the only team that the Houston Texans called. I guess, it's that SpongeBob meme. Who am I, Patrick? Am I stupid? No, I'm Texas. What's the difference? Houston Texans doing something stupid, the Dallas Mavericks doing something stupid. Only calling one team from reports, and listen, that's just what I'm seeing right now. Things could change. I don't know. I can only react to the information that I have now. But if you see the Lakers and you're the Suns just go after and go get Luka Doncic and now have saved themselves from NBA purgatory and just complete and utter turmoil and chaos, I mean, this is unprecedented news. I would love to see from people in the chat who can try to remind me of another time where this kind of a deal went down out of nowhere. Even the Kevin Durant one years ago. We knew he wanted to be here. We knew he was unhappy in Brooklyn. And listen, I know people say, and my buddy Ruben Guler, who I've known for a really long time, really good guy, does great stuff on YouTube. More of a social influencer, not really on the sports side, but he had mentioned the NBA ratings are down. Is this going to help the NBA ratings? Or is it going to hurt the NBA ratings? Because me as the casual fan, I'm pissed. Another team just gave the Los Angeles Lakers a lifeline. Just gave them ticket sales and jersey sales and saved them from irrelevancy. I don't know if this is good for the NBA. I know it's good for the Los Angeles Lakers. And I don't think it puts the Lakers in that title contention mode. They've still got issues everywhere on this team. Luka is not saving them. He plays about the same amount of defense as LeBron James at this point in his career, but he's not saving them for now. Clearly, down the road, they're going to be clear threats. money to spend, LeBron James off their book soon, pairing Luka up with someone else. This is a slam dunk, pardon the pun, for the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm in shock. Honestly, guys, when I saw the news that Luka Doncic was traded, my buddy sent it in the chat, I clicked on the Shams Charania button 5 or 6 times because I'm like, oh, this is a fake account. And then it wasn't. And I was like, okay, it's hacked. Like that is how far-fetched it was. Came out, it's real, it's true. And now it goes over to the Phoenix Suns. What is your response? Because it was Jimmy Butler or bust, and now it is extraordinarily, without any error, Jimmy Butler or bust. The Phoenix Suns have got to go make a move. Because the Lakers are now surpassing you for not just the future, but the present as well. They got better with Luka Doncic. Yeah, sure. Defensively, maybe they're not the same team. LeBron and Luka don't play a lot of defense. But he was scheduled to return on Saturday for the Dallas Mavericks. So I think that we were all in the same spot where it was just crazy, nuts news. So if you're the Suns, you got to go make a deal. You got to start picking up the phone. You got to start phoning it in for other teams. Utah seems to like to make deals. Listen, Patty Mills this morning going away. Drew Eubanks going away. I mean, there's no excuse anymore. If the Los Angeles Lakers can swing a heist of a deal for Luka Doncic, you've got to figure out how to go get Jimmy Butler on your team. If anything, this helps the trade market value for Jimmy Butler. I mean, you got to make it happen. And my guy Ruben in the chat, who's, again, super good dude, Suns got to get rid of Nurk, of course. I would get rid of him yesterday. The problem is no one wants him. That's the issue. Suns have been taking calls on Nurk since he got here. They just don't have any assets. But the Suns, the Lakers hit my desk and it's going to make my camera shake, but the Lakers got Luka Doncic for peanuts. Call it what it is. Anthony Davis does not move the needle for you. The Dallas Mavericks are not changing anything in the Western Conference with Anthony Davis. And again, you cite the conditioning concerns and the injury concerns, and I can point at Anthony Davis and say the exact same thing. They were handed a gift. And if you're the Suns, you see Jimmy Butler out there, you need to go make that deal happen. If Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers can just happen out of thin air, you have no excuse for your constraints with Bradley Beal's contract, with whatever. If he's willing to be traded, and that's the only domino, you got to make it happen. Because now you are slowly but surely falling out of relevancy in the NBA, and not even just in the NBA as a whole, in the Western Conference. The Suns have had a lot of bad things happen over the past couple of months, over the past couple of years. One of them happened to the guy that just got traded, Luka Doncic, who put this team in a body bag a few years ago. Oh, and by the way, now you're going to see that guy come over to Phoenix when the Lakers play. So maybe that demon that is the Dallas Mavericks is off your back now. But, I mean, if the Dallas Mavericks wanted older, brittle players, we should have just sent them Kevin Durant. Him and Kyrie Irving could go duke it out again. But no excuse anymore. I was going to give the Suns a pass because there's just not much to do. The Lakers, sure, with Anthony Davis, who I cannot believe they flipped into Luka Doncic, and a first-round pick, can get a deal done. You've got 3 firsts. You got to make something happen. You got to move Yusuf Nurkic. You got to move Bradley Beal. You got to get Jimmy Butler here. Because you're quickly fading into irrelevance and going back to that decade of nonsense that you dealt with for this Suns team for years. So, I stunned, guys. Stunned. You know, I mentioned before, usually I do a bunch of prep for the show. I see we got a few people in the chat. You can follow me at Ben Garcia Show on all social media platforms. I can't remember a time where a deal like this has happened in any sport. I really can't. I am going through my brain. I can't think of anything in the NFL, MLB, NBA, where a player in its prime got traded for what is seemed to be a heist in the middle of the season, where you only get one first-round pick and injured and old, brittle Anthony Davis, and those were the same issues you traded Luka for. You traded Luka because brittle conditioning concerns. None of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. I can't put my fingers around it. The Lakers stole him. The Lakers stole Luka Doncic. They just did. And if you're a Suns fan and you look and see what the Los Angeles Lakers just did and steal Luka Doncic and steal a decade more of relevancy, stealing a full country of Slovenians who will now gravitate to the Los Angeles Lakers as if they weren't global enough, you as the Phoenix Suns have to put your foot down and make something happen. It is DEFCON 1 now. You got to go get Jimmy. You swung a deal. You broke apart your 2031 draft picks. You sprinkled it in and got extra players. You got extra picks. It's time to make a move. And I understand you might be doing it with your hands tied behind your back. But if the Lakers can go steal Luka Doncic away from the Dallas Mavericks, a future Hall of Famer, one of the best scorers in the NBA, just took a team to the finals a year ago. Oh, and kicked your team out of the playoffs a couple of years ago. For Anthony Davis and a first-round pick and Max Christie as a throw-in, it's time for you to go make a move. Something needs to happen tonight for the Suns. Because if we're talking about a team next year that's rolling out Beal and Booker because KD had to get traded because this team flamed out again in the playoffs, that ain't going to fly. You will head back to irrelevancy where you were for a decade prior to that 2021 season. It's time to make a move. The Lakers stole Luka. Absolutely stole him. And if they can get a generational superstar who brings international eyes to their team and to their fan base and to their organization, you can get a disgruntled, older Jimmy Butler to the Phoenix Suns. You got to make it happen. Because before it was already seen as a Hail Mary, now it's seen as two Hail Marys, and you got to convert the two-point conversion. It is an impossible task, an immovable task, but frustrating all on its own. I mean, Luka getting moved for peanuts. I mean, I hate the Los Angeles Lakers. Listen, what I do here is all Arizona sports based, unless something like this moves everything. I will clearly talk about it because it does affect the Phoenix Suns. I've never experienced a night like this where my sworn enemy got one of the most generational basketball players in the NBA. And a guy who owns the Suns, no less. There legitimately isn't a worse team where he could go to. If you're a Suns fan, legitimately, there is not a worse team Luka Doncic could have went to. Maybe the Spurs, but I think we just tipped our cap to the Spurs for years outside of that one year where, Tim Donaghy was betting on games. Just very disappointing night. I want to take a second to read some things in the chat. There's 26 of you guys watching currently. That is awesome. I appreciate you guys. For those of you who don't know, I do stream every morning, Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 a.m. local time. This is the time in the chat where I'll read some of your guys' things and react to it as well. My guy Ruben, do you think Booker and KD would mesh with a player like Butler? You don't think it's too many alphas? Too many alphas? Jimmy Butler would be the only alpha. Kevin Durant, I love the guy, doesn't want to be a leader. He's very vocal about him not wanting being a leader. Just because you're really good at basketball doesn't make you an alpha. That's the reason why I think Jimmy Butler would work on this team, because he's an alpha. Booker over the past couple seasons has not been. Kevin Durant over the past couple seasons has not been. Not a shot. No, I think they would mesh well because Butler, when this team who has absolutely no punch to give, when they get knocked in the face, when the Suns get punched in the face, they have a hard time delivering a counterpunch. So I think Butler would allow them to help figure out that counterpunch. So, yes, as my guy Saul in the chat is saying, hit the like button for this man. Hey, listen, my wife is in the other room. She knows the weekends are sacred for just her and I. Unless a generational superstar gets traded and it's the Phoenix Suns arch rivals and it's the guy that ruined it's the team that ruined my childhood partially. So yes, please like, please share, please subscribe to the show at Ben Garcia Show. So Saul, I appreciate that. King Nacho, avid listener of the show. Beal must go. At this point, you kind of have to. Christian, Laker privilege at its best. Very frustrating. You realize Luka quietly quit, just wanted out. Yeah, I don't buy that either. My guy Jackson as well. W stream, bro, you killed it. I'm not ready to be done just yet. I'm not done venting all of my issues, although I do appreciate it. Chanceberg, thank you, Ben. I appreciate it for the coverage. Hey, listen, guys, I do it for the thrill of it. So I thank you for tuning in and watching on a Saturday night in shocking of the entire sports world. You know, I'm just scrolling through Twitter trying to see if there's anything crazy. I see just I'm in such a pissed off mood with this deal. So I'm seeing the people on social media that want to act like that they have sourcing, and we all know who they are, but they don't have sourcing because they tell you something vaguely and then something happens and then they claim that they knew something. Those are the worst types of people in the world. Luka, Shams Charania, not seen anything else. Tim McMahon was told by the Mavs GM, I believe defense wins championships. Mavs GM Nico Harrison said, Anthony Davis, I believe that getting an all-defensive center, an all-NBA player with a defensive mindset gives us a better chance to win. We're built to win now and in the future. You just went to the finals with this guy. You just went to if you're the Oklahoma City Thunder, you've got to be thrilled. You've got to just absolutely be thrilled that you don't have to deal with Luka Doncic anymore in the playoffs, or at least on the Dallas Mavericks this year. Seems as if everyone is in complete disarray and shock, and who knows, maybe something else happens. David Aldridge, I've been covering the NBA for 37 years. Almost nothing that happens, deals, free agency, signings, coaching hires, rises to the levels of holy bleep stories. You just get used to the unexpected, but this is a holy bleep trade. My guy Gerald Bourguet, even if you're concerned about an upcoming Supermax and conditioning, that's the best offer you could possibly get for Luka Doncic. Some teams run to the second apron, and you can argue whether it's the right or wrong thing to do, putting all your chips in the table, spending all your money, maxing out your credit card if you're a GM. And some GMs run away from the second apron. And being scared to give a guy a Supermax contract, just loser mentality. These freaking owners that are so busy counting their pockets and penny pinching for every last dollar. I am so sick of it. If you didn't want to give Luka a Supermax deal, that's fine. Well, it's not, but it's fine. But aggressive wins in sports, and this is the opposite of aggressive. This is turtle shelling. And that's the best you could get for the guy? I just crazy. I'm seeing people, as you guys know, I cover the Phoenix Suns for Locked On Suns podcast, and I'm in a group chat with all the people that cover their teams, Locked On Thunder, Dallas Mavericks, NBA. I'm like 92% sure the guy that covers the Dallas Mavericks, his name's Nick Angstadt. He's actually my boss. He's a really good dude. Really good dude. Gosh, I gotta stop shaking the camera so much. I'm so livid. Usually I'm so much better about this, but he hasn't said a word. So I'm like 95% sure that guy's still asleep. Imagine being a Dallas Mavericks fan, and if I'm not mistaken, they're an hour ahead right now. So it's 12:22 a.m. over there. They're probably all asleep, and you don't know that Luka Doncic has been gone. I called him. Didn't see any of that either. Anyways, guys, I think that's enough for now. I've ranted enough. I appreciate you guys being in the chat, being a part of the show. It has been awesome to react to this news with you guys. For those of you that don't know, I am live every morning, 6 a.m., 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll have another show on Monday, a regular show, and it'll be much more clear-cut than this was. This was just turn on the camera and go. And I appreciate you guys tuning in for that. But don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. DM me. Tell me you listen to the show. I'll always respond back to you. At me. If you see me in public, it's funny. I was at a Chipotle the other day, and some guy, this is like my superstar moment. Sometimes people see me, and they've seen me from Locked On Suns, and I'll always say hello. If they want me to post for a picture, I'll post for a picture. Not that they want to, but I'll say hello, be nice. I'll do whatever it is. Because if they take time out of their day to listen to me, I appreciate that more than they'll ever know. But I was in the line the other day at Chipotle, and a guy told me, he goes, "Hey, are you Ben?" I was like, "Yeah," and I'm just assuming it's Locked On Phoenix Suns, and he's telling me he's seen my Ben Garcia Show content, so that was pretty cool to see that we are growing here, that people are seeing it, and if you ever see me out in public, say hello. You are not bothering me ever. I will sit there and have a full-blown conversation with you, even while the Suns are getting beat by 20 points like they did tonight against the Trailblazers, which we didn't talk about a ton of, but yeah, guys, follow me on all social media platforms. A show will come out on Monday morning. I'm sure we'll talk about it on Locked On Suns tomorrow with my guy Brendan Clean. Mayhem in the NBA. Absolute mayhem. And I really hope the Suns trade for Jimmy Butler, but I really hope it's not going to happen when I turn off the stream immediately. But appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good one. And until Monday, I'm Benjamin Garcia, and it's been the Ben Garcia Show.